Here comes the news with a twist and a grin. Stephen Allen diving in again.
Britain is in the grip of a vomiting epidemic caused by nauseating TV adverts.
He'll hit your brain like a lightning spark. Stephen Allen,
on slavery.
almost daily.
Investigating
Laughs and facts, served up plainly.
You look at your face,
Your
like,
dose
what are you
of
going to do with that,
wit,
Steve?
it's never shady. Stephen Allen, almost daily.
Hello and welcome to Stephen Allen, Almost Daily. It's a day. Hang on, the picture. There we go. I don't think the newspaper's there. Hello and welcome to Stephen Allen, Almost Daily. It's a day. What more do you want? Hello. Already rough. Already a rough start. So welcome along to the show where I, waffle on and stream about whatever I talk about and all that lark. Still rough. Still not feeling particularly well. That's just what happened with the global hotkey. There we are. Global hotkey's on now, so we can, let's just retake that bit that should have happened. Hello. Oh, there it is. Beautiful. Smooth. Worth it. Hey, you're on mute. What? I'm not on mute, am I? Don't panic. Don't panic me. Who's what? Done what with a what? Hello and welcome to the daily streaming show, which is not every day, but it's almost every day. And we all can start off with a look of what's happening in the chat already. I don't know what's going on in there. They're talking about how much Prince Andrew already I feel like, look at that. We're into legal difficulties. So what I'll say at the start of today's show is Peter Mandelson has previously denied all wrongdoing. Andrew has previously denied all wrongdoing. And I'll say that again at the end. And I don't even know why. Let's have a look. Charlotte says, Steve, you need some R&R. I do, if that's like Calpol and Sudafed. If I can't spell. I don't really know how you spell Sudafed anyway. So I can give you an update. Previously, I'd lost my voice, and then that was on Wednesday. Then by the time Thursday's show came around, I was slightly better or something. Went to the dentist. Did we do a Friday show? No, we didn't do Thursday. We did Friday show. I was slightly better by then. Since then, I don't know what I've done. I've eaten something, and I was up all night, not last night, the night before, being ill in that party way without the partying. And then I've had a headache since. So I think I'm on my way out. I think basically I've had a good innings. Do you know what I mean? You reach the stage where I could go to the doctors, but at the same time, it's been all right, and it's been lovely. Thanks for all the fish. So anyway, what else is happening in the chat? Talking about how much you charge for cream eggs. Is Brit here before we get the full cream egg argument up and running? Joodles, who's watching this from some sort of a foreign land, either that or she's had a knock on the head. Do you worry about that? You know, you get those stories of people who have a stroke and they end up speaking a foreign language, and you've just been writing in Spanish. Do you ever worry? This is the problem with being bilingual. You're one bang on the head away from being one of those people. And let's have a look. Oh, no, so Charlotte's she has some cream eggs. Don't shy away from the cream eggs. Cream eggs are the future. More on that later. Chris Hood says, where should we send the flowers? I don't know. Give me a few weeks in the funeral home. So not like I'm a bloke who moans about being ill. A little bit. So let's start off today's show as we mean to go on with one of these. Blimey. Let's do this thing. So we some more on that later. Some proper memes, indeed. I'm feeling like that today. Let's start off with this. Front pages of the news and stuff. So, unsurprisingly, it's all Mandelson, isn't it? Disgraced Lord held cop swoop amid allegations that he shared government secrets with friend Epstein. He's previously denied all wrongdoing. I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, but one of the stories said that an email that came from Gordon Brown found its way to Epstein's inbox in 38 minutes, was it, since it was sent? Which is impressive. I've had email servers that can't manage that on their own. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you email it over? Click send. I've sent it. It's not arrived yet. All right, calm down. And yet Mandelson allegedly managed to do it. Nice work. Let's see what some of the other ones do. Front page of where's my mouse gone? Front page of the Times. Mandelson arrest over secret passes to Epstein. But even that makes it sound more sexual than it is. Like making a pass out. No, this is forwarding emails. You could have actually just set up a protocol in Gmail to do this for you. I hate to teach her to suck eggs. What's this one? 6 ways to avoid injury at the gym. I can think of one way. And it's a foolproof way. The Times, if you're listening, I see your 6, and I take down a 1, and it's not go to the gym. I'll hang you up. Front page of the Telegraph. Mandelson arrested. No, really. Look at this. Are we calling this a gilet these days? Back in my day, that'd be a body warmer. But these days, you have to call it a gilet. It's not the biggest part of this story. I just don't like the outfit. Labour grandee marched from his home over Epstein's scandal in defining moment of Starmer's premiership. Well, kind of. But it's not even the first arrested and interviewed by the police this week on this story, is it? At some point, they're going to come round here. I didn't do a Mandelson song, in case you're interested. Front page of the Daily Mail. Chilling day, I had tea with Soham killer Ian Huntley and Maxine Carr. All right, you could have not done that. I feel like tea is available. There are other ways to get tea. It's quite cheap. It's not the... I don't know why the Americans kicked off about it. Now Mandelson faces the music. Would have been funny if it was a Mandelson pun, but they didn't go with that. Days after Andrew, ashen-faced architect of New Labour is led away by police too. Nice. Which is why Proper Memes already gave us this beautiful work. Look at that. I look like a meme business. Why is she checking out Mandelson's ace? Is it the gilet? Does it do wonders for a man's figure? Okay. Front page, it's just the same flipping story. Things can only get sweatier. Not your finest work, The Sun. I know what you're doing, because you had a great headline with Andrew, and in fact, if we go back on the... doing that, right, in the chair. And it was like, he's sweating now was their headline. Great. Things can only get sweatier. I see all the things that are going into this headline. The D-Ream song, the anthem of New Labour. I know, I get it. It just don't float on my boat. Let's have a look. Brit's here. Let's have a row about eggs later on. I love your eggs, Brits. But she says, body warmer. That's why you're banned from Tesco. Wait a minute. I'm not the only one who used to call that a body warmer, am I? I know I'm from the poor north, but no one was calling that a gilet in the 90s. I'm not having it. That is a modern thing that we're all pretending now, like we've always called them gilets. And the reason we know it's that is because the yellow vest people in France kicking off, isn't it? Anyway, if I would go through more of these, we've missed loads here. Let's have a look. Brits here, steam and eucalyptus. Two of my favourite inventions. Oh, Brit, I let you down, says Charlotte. I'm sorry. Cream eggs were doing it for me at the weekend. I think it's perfectly fine to do both, unless you're me or Brit, in which case we will die on these hills. You just need to scoff 2 bags of mini eggs this weekend to balance it out. By the way, Brit, do you realise they do mini cream eggs? I feel like we could end this war. It's on the 4th anniversary of the whole Ukrainian thing. Maybe we should get together, have a bag of mini cream eggs, and both hate the experience. That's all it is, isn't it? I don't like the size of the mini eggs. You like the crunch of the mini eggs. No one would be happy with that outcome. Inside what? Who's done what in the who what? Mandy, what? Brit says, but no, we've done that one. And I don't wear enough clothing to hide any sugary goods. Well, that depends. It depends if Ems needs to sneak it into her Middlesbrough prison. I can think of one area we all can think of one area. And Chris, isn't it just a thick waistcoat? That's a very good point. Would you consider a gilet a thick waistcoat? They do Oreo and Biscoff eggs too. Don't you wrong 'un. Both I and Brit can point out that you're a wrong un. Biscoff egg. Terry's orange eggs. What is wrong with the world? The scientists spent too long thinking if they could, and not enough time thinking if they should. Tis Chris, says Joodles. Probably, what is that, Klingon? There's an apostrophe in there. You speak in so many languages. You want to watch out. Wear a thud guard, just in case. Happy to sulk with you over mini cream eggs. Exactly, no one would enjoy the experience. Mini cream eggs. What is... It's the perversion that nature was not here for. Should we go back to looking at stories about Mandy? It's just the same. We've nearly done them, haven't we? Oh, no, this one actually was different. Plot to bring jihadi bride Shamima back to the UK. Let's have a look. Shamima Begum Maybe plotting to pay people smugglers to help her return to Britain. That'll go down well, won't it? Astonishing text messages from inside the detention camp claim. But then we could send her back to France. But then they'd send her back here with some other people, with any dependents she can pick up on the way and manage to keep. Too soon. All right, we're up to date with all the front pages. Anything else happening in there? I've never heard it called a Middlesbrough prison before. Normally on this show, we refer to it as a chocolate pocket, but I do think henceforth, your Middlesbrough prison, maybe that's a different place, actually. There's a strong chance it's a different place. All right, let's do some of this.
Let's get inside the news.
Hello, welcome back. There's loads to get through in the news today, and I'm already sweating through whatever illness this is. So let's plough on. Also, big shout out. Eric McElroy was watching the stream on Friday when I was incredibly ill, and he did say, "Well done for judicious use of the cough button." I think I did all right with that, actually. Oh, my neck. So we'll plough on, so I don't collapse live on the screen as well. Oh no, I was going to say, I also went to the listener party. I thought I'd spread around this disease, whatever it is, for the All Hit Radio people on Friday when we were in Romford. You should have been there. It was good. It was a party vibe. And someone did ask me if Larry was Eric McElroy. So I thought, through years of doing a radio show where I've done a character called Larry who does entertainment news, which is so obviously me. But, some people fell for it. Or they just really have a low opinion of like the acting range of Eric or something. I don't know. But either way, so a big shout out to anyone who was there. All right, let's take a look at what's happening in the news. Oh, not even moved. Let's move it away. Let's start with this then, shall we? Why not? I think that's how you pronounce it. GPs pay incentive to boost fat jabs, according to Wiz Streeting. Doctors will be paid to put more patients on fat jabs amid criticism. The rollout is too slow. Of the people, or are we talking of the jabs? Give them a break. They're out of breath. The new work contracts, GPs will be offered cash incentives to make referrals to specialist weight loss support. Why is that? It would be quicker just to dish out the drugs, wouldn't it? Bish bash, but by the time you've got all the different people involved, they're getting paid more than the 200 quid or whatever it is, isn't it? I reckon, and this is my theory on this. Phase one. Anyone who wants fat jabs can have fat jabs because people are too fat. Bish, bash, bosh, sort that out, right? It won't be long until people are saying, I used to think that this nation was full, but now I look round and there's plenty of room. I'm in favour of immigration. Cheers. I don't know who you thought that was, but I'm not necessarily good at impressions, but there we go. ASMR. Or trank darts. I've said it before. Little and then they just get thinner. It's not a bad idea. They put fluoride in the water. Why not put the GLP-1s, whatever they're called, in the food? I should put it in the fat people food. It's cream eggs, isn't it? I'm all for having Monjaro put into cream eggs. It's a win-win. I'd be looking great, and I'd be looking better than Brit because I'd be getting more. She'd be getting this much dose. I'd be getting this much dose. All of a sudden, I'd have abs. So we'd all win if I had abs. This show would be better. Not with how ill I am today, by the way. Should we get the rants? No. All right, let's do this. A couple of stories that are a bit boring, but let's get them over and done with because they're a bit actual news. Justice Secretary David Lammy has scrapped the cap on the number of days that courts are allowed to sit for. When we were having the whole discussion about getting rid of juries for crimes under a certain 3 years, isn't it, as a potential sentence, we said, wouldn't it be better, instead of stripping us of our right to have our crimes assessed by our peers, to instead let the courts actually work longer? That's how you get rid of a backlog. You up the number of processing hours of something. Right? And he's now agreed with that. So I'm all in favour of a government U-turn or a policy U-turn that ends up pointing in the right direction. I'm not one of these people who goes on about the government's done so many U-turns. Well, I'd rather it be 15 U-turns than 15 decisions still wrong. But on this one, I do think we have the right to say he could have worked this out quicker. He could have watched this show and we pointed out that. He could have watched any of the media things I turn up on and we pointed out that. But at the same time, can you blame him for not doing the maths in his head very quickly when this is the guy who was on Mastermind and said, which came after Henry VII, Henry VI? We're lucky he didn't do the maths in the wrong direction. This guy carries a 1, and the next thing, no one's allowed near a court ever again. So, look. But at the same time, look, he's finally coming up with a good thing. What a good thing. This guy is finally... Wait, no, he's done another one. The Deputy Prime Minister wants more use of artificial intelligence to cut court backlogs. Justice Secretary David Lammy is expected to back digital modernisation for the court system in a speech at Microsoft AI tour. Well, that's going to go down well there. But what about for the rest of us? Literally, we are sat here in a nation that one of the big news stories recently was your old West Midlands Police had a little chat with some AI to come up with its evidence for banning certain football fans, and it was wrong. So the idea of getting them involved. Same time, this one. Cops to use AI tech. That's not a stain, by the way. I think that was a picture in the newspaper. That looks like I've really grubbied up that thing. Yeah. Cops use AI tech to grass on themselves. It could be a grass stain. Bots are policing cops to keep them on the straight and narrow. Again, during the time when the West Midlands Police used AI to come up... Look, I know people wanted police to be like back in the 70s, where they just made up evidence and sort of... Yeah, we're doing that using AI. I'm not sure it's the step in the direction anyone was wanting. Got a sweat on after that. What's happening here? Production values maintained. What's happened? Who's done what? Because of the stain up there. Hang on. Where do we go back as far as to she Begum Starmer? She's Begum Begum. Proper meme says she Begum Starmer to let her back in the UK. Begum. Afternoon, says Martin. Hi. Is Eric here? I don't think he's here. Leave a chat comment if you will. And Larry the number 10 camp. Close. Boost for boosters. Yeah. Gatter lost weight with sleeping. Whenever he got hungry, he took a nap. I'm all in favour of that. My life is, at the moment, I'm eating because I can't do naps. And that is the problem. Brit says, I concept of only eating one mini egg at a time. The concept of eating only 1 minute. Yeah, exactly. Because they're not big enough. Because they're mini. The word fun size is the biggest lie. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was coming up with the word fun sized. It's not. For Mars bars, for Milky Ways, for bounties, for penises. No. Whoa, says Joodles. Which country are you in that they don't even have cars? You're having to make your way on horseback. You eat more than one at a time, Brit. I don't know who you people are anymore. We'll put some of the Monjaro in there and we'll fix it. Co-pilot or co-defender. Yeah, I wouldn't trust AI to defend. Listen. I use AI quite a lot in the production of some of the songs that we do on there. And here's one thing here's what I've learned, right? I can't sing. So, but I'm not bad at audio production. It's kind of what I used to do during all my radio career, which is why I can knock together the production values of the songs, right? I can't sing, that's the problem. But I can use auto-tune, but I need to know what key the song is in. And I've worked out you can upload a song to Gemini and it will tell you the key and it will tell you the mode. Thankfully, I know enough musical theory to work out you need the key, major, minor, but also you need to know whether it's like Ionian, mixed Lydian, all those weird ones, right? Because then you know which notes are available. And it always gets it wrong because it's crap. Because you upload it goes, this is definitely G major. You go, okay. Having said that, though, I know the tonic of this chord is C, of this scale is C. So maybe it's a C. You're absolutely right, Steve. It is a C. Well, then why did you say it? Ems is here. Oh, we know that because of your chocolate pocket. Smarties are mini eggs on Monjaro. Good point. Well made. Chris says mini eggs are just fat Smarties, though. All right. Well, it's flip side. There's two types of people in this world. Charlotte says, I shove 6 in at once. And that's why I'm banned from Tesco's. Hey. Oh, dear. Don't make me laugh. That'll be ASMR that no one needs. It's bubbling. All right, we're up to date. I think we're up to date. Let's crack over some more stories. Let's do this one. This the one that will get us taken off air. BAFTAs. John says, I'm mortified. He might mean it. You don't know. Tourette's Crusader yelled N-word. We don't need the pictures at the top, do we? It's more about the words. Let's get this in. Tourette's crusader yelled N-word. Considering others, he left the theatre. So I'm sure you know the story by now, don't you? So this is John Davidson, who we're reliably informed has not been invited to the Mobos this year. Sparked a race row. Did he, though? But all right. Sparked a race row by shouting the N-word at the BAFTAs. So I think there are two arguments to be had. One is, should the BBC have edited it? And one is, should he apologise, or should the BAFTAs have apologised to the people on stage? The first one, I actually think you could say you could edit it. I've seen people online saying, are we editing out people's disabilities now? I don't think it's exactly the same. I don't think you're using CGI to make someone taller than the lectern if they're not. This is just editing out a word that Ofcom says you can't broadcast, right? I think you can get away with it. I think you can get away with that. It's not like you're going through editing out someone's disability. I saw someone online saying it would be like editing out all of the pauses when Rosie Jones delivers material. I don't think they are comparable. No one's ever been offended by that pause, right? However, loads of people online are making some hay about how traumatizing this was for the people on stage. Traumatizing for them. But was it though? Because they knew why he was saying that. Yeah. If you have Tourette's, it is literally the N-word pass, isn't it? Because everyone knows you're not doing it. The intention isn't there. You're just making the sound. So the debate goes, right, I realise at the end of this debate, at the end of me putting forward my thesis on this, it could thoroughly be undone by someone saying, but you don't know, Steve, you don't know what it's like to be like that. Yeah, fine. Say that at the end after I've made it, right? Is it just the sound that is so offensive it can never be said out loud? Or is it about the intention of the person saying it? Because if it's the first one, then I guess we shouldn't let Kanye do it in songs. I guess all of those rap songs should now be burned or edited so they'd be just over half as long. You get through more of them on radio. But those words couldn't be... If it's just the sound, it doesn't matter who's saying it. So if it's just the sound, I guess we need to not say the word snigger. Because, well, you know why. Like, the sound's in there, isn't it? But it's a word that we're allowed to say. Or it's not about the word, it's about the person and the intention, in which case... If someone's got Tourette's, their intention is to not say it. It's literally the thing that made them say it was realising, I'll tell you what would be the worst thing I could say, uh-oh. It's just a sound when someone with Tourette's says it, isn't it? I think I put this one to bed. Look at me. I've literally coming up with more sense than anyone else. And then someone online can just say, you don't know, Steve. Yeah, I don't know. Fair enough. I haven't been through it. Joodles, how about we stop criminalising strings of letters clumped together and get over ourselves? Well, it's all very well you saying that, Joodles. That would have been the theory of Lenny Bruce back in the 60s. And it's not as if we've had loads of time to process that and move on and be better as a society since the 60s. Wait a minute. All right. These people need to eat some cream eggs. You make a good point there. Maybe a chewier substance. Because... one thing I know from doing like corporate gigs, you never want to be on stage when people are eating. They can't laugh, they can't respond. If people are eating, they don't talk, right? I'm not saying the solution to this is like a gobstopper, but I'm not saying that. Is that more offensive? It's probably more offensive than anything, isn't it? Problem means I saw a tweet from a rapper saying he wants to hire the Tourette's guys to spice up his hip-hop tracks. Quite the hype man, wouldn't he be? That would stop the Tourette's. I see, yeah. And Ems says, if he had a whole cream egg in his mouth, he wouldn't be able to say anything. Maybe we've solved it. Maybe we've solved it. Do you not think, though, you've got to be quite full of yourself to take offence in that moment? I mean, you're like, oh, this guy's got a disability that means he can't not say it, and I'm the victim. I saw someone saying, like, you'll never understand the trauma they went through on stage. But again... only if it's true that they accidentally walk past someone playing a Kanye album and they'll never recover. Do you know what I mean? Because that would be the sound is so bad. But if it's down to who's saying it, surely this John Davison guy gets a pass. Martin says, I had a cream egg recently and blame this chat entirely for that decision. We have done a lot wrong on this show. I will admit that. Why is it that I, for ages, have been trying to get sponsorship from... I would take sponsorship from the Sugar-Free Devils. Of course I would. Oh, and yet the only thing I've successfully made people do is have more cream eggs. Where's my free cream eggs, Cadbury? ASMR. If he had anything in his... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're going to get me in trouble. As much as that probably got me in trouble anyway. No song on today's show. We'll take a brief second for me to say this. And don't forget, this show is sponsored by Ko-fi.com/Mr. Stephen Allen. But the songs are also going to be improved. This didn't require you giving any money on Ko-fi. I'm just so happy about this. I forgot I had one of these. Oh, baby. I dug this out. You can tell, for ages, it sat on my shelf in my old office, right? So the sun slightly ruined this key because there was a book against it. It's just that it uses the old USB 2, but at some point I'll find one of those. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. That's all I'm saying. You didn't even have to donate for this. This was already bought. As soon as I get myself a lead. Oh. Right. I think you read a bit too much into Charlotte's comment there. Really? As a ginger dyslexic, I might accidentally say that word. Hang on. Yep. Steve Allen is the new Bishop of Cadbury. What did he do? Has he been caught? The one in Leicester or Lincoln got in trouble, did he? I used to be related. My first long-term partner was the niece of the Bishop of Lincoln or Leicester. I can't remember. Some East Midlands place with an L. I think they've swapped since then, but... yeah. Can anyone actually breathe through their ears, Charlotte? Good point. Surely you've got perforated eardrums if you can. Or is it down the eustachian tube? I think you could, couldn't you? We'll look into that. I think I would read that one. No song. I know. I'm sorry. I don't have a voice. I'm working on... Well, I won't even tell you. There are 3 songs in production, and I've got a keyboard that will help me hit notes when I get the right lead. I once had a whole meat in my mouth. Couldn't speak for 2 hours. Well... That's the thoughts of Charlotte there. Working out brainstorming different ideas of how you could attend the BAFTAs and not offend anyone on stage. Still don't think he's going to the Mobos. Boom. There she is. Hollywood. Hollywood is preparing to make her TV comeback with her own YouTube channel. She will start with a magazine show similar to This Morning, the ITV hit She Quit in 2023, effectively marking the dawn of Holly TV. Can we just say for a second, what kind of a loser used to be on TV, but fell on such hard times they do a YouTube channel? Sorry, you don't get those moments when you just see life in perspective. Okay. Hello. Grateful for that pronunciation, says Joodles. Hello. I feel like we're half doing the joke about Bill and Ben breaking wind in the bath. Hello. Bird-brained twitchers have better attention span and memory. Wow, this is interesting news. Bird watching keeps the brain sharper and protects it against aging, say scientists. But given a choice, an honest, straight choice, having a slightly healthier brain, spending all of that time doing bird watching, or having a slightly worse brain and just getting all that time back. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, put some flax in your diet and you'll live longer. No, there's no downside. You'd live longer, but you'd spend more of that time watching pissing birds. I mean, not maybe actually watching pissing birds. I don't know what they do. I'd rather have my runtime compressed, but do more with it. You know what I mean? No offence to the bird, a little bit of offence to the bird watchers. Get over it. I'm not upset about offending them. I was dancing on eggshells around the Venn diagram overlap of people offended by the N-word and people with Tourette's. Like, either way, you don't want to offend either one of those groups. They will attack you viciously. They will call you mean things. You don't know which group I'm talking about. Hey, come on. Let's not push it too far. I can't read that. I'm too old. Third of clubs go in 5 years. Britain's nightlife is at a breaking point as figures show that around a third of our nightclubs have vanished in just 5 years. This worries me for one reason. I earn money in the darn things. So I do stand-up gigs, and stand-up comedy gigs sometimes happen in nightclubs. I don't know why it's ended up this way. I think it's because it's a venue that has the ability to do something before 10 o'clock, but no one really gives two flips about nightclubs before 10 o'clock. So you get these gigs that are set up. The acoustics are terrible. The lighting is way too bright and thoroughly the wrong colour. I have all the reasons to blame about why I don't get laughs. And then you go on there and you do your 2-hour show or whatever, and then you bougie off, and then the young people turn up for the nightclubs. And here's the weirdest thing about working in a nightclub doing stand-up. You're on stage, and if it's going well, lovely. That audience flipping love you. You get off, they, oh, woo, look at Steve. And you get off stage, and they come up and they say nice things. But as that happens, people from the nightclub part leave. Sorry, from the gig part leave. Young people turn up from the nightclub, and they don't know that you've just been on stage. And suddenly you go from the hero of the room, the epicenter of the focus in the room, to this guy's too old to be here. Why is he here? And it is such a soul-crushing feeling of going like, yeah, thanks, oh no, you follow me online. As the young people look at you like, what, are you picking someone up and driving them home? Oh, it cuts to the core. Hollow. Martin says, hollow is the sound that people make when... ASMR. People make when they come inside out of the cold. Holly Willoughby. Twitchers stream playing games for hours on end. Oh, Twitch. I tried launching this show on Twitch. Did not work. Joodle says, it's almost what I said after jumping in the hotel pool on Sunday. If I'd have been able to speak and hadn't instantly got brain freeze. Was it nippy? Well, that means two things, doesn't it? Bird watching only makes sense to me if you have a camera. Otherwise, it's just lurking in a bush waiting for a lesser ringed snatch. We've been thinking of doing mugs for this show. Just a small run so you can sit there with you. I was thinking there needs to be like a catchphrase. Joodles was suggesting it's a day, what more do you want? Which actually I think is a strong contender for a catchphrase. I say it every show and that's exactly how I feel about life, right? Lesser ringed snatch decides to have an honourable mention somewhere, doesn't it? Yeah, we need that on there. So we will be taking suggestions for things to put on an official almost daily mug. We'll be doing a vote. I'll milk the crap out of this, don't you worry. Also, I've looked into it and it looks like I can get vinyl versions of I'm Tired with a B-side of first album Pour. So if anyone wants one of those, I'm getting it done. The whole thing should be landing on Spotify soon as well, just to annoy people who like real music. Martin says, I've been to rock gigs like that, Steve. The dry ice has barely cleared. Some spotty oaf appears with 2 record players. If only they could be playing I'm Tired, though. I wouldn't mind. You could have a very tiny mug with your face on it and call it the mug shot. It's not a bad idea. Well, yeah, me with a prison background. I feel there's a joke in that. Or at some point, an obvious thing. Until the point of my arrest, it'd be like, that's a funny joke. And then it's like, we should have seen it coming. Don't forget the desk nuts. Chris, good point. We need to make desk. I'm not sure how to do it. I see lots of those videos online where people take molds of things, but I feel like that's not what we need. Mug saying, sorry, I've just creamed my egg. It'll be better when I'm no longer ill, isn't it? All right, what else we got? What else? I'll go down. I'll do them in size order now, if you don't mind. We're all living in an alien zoo. Singer, this ain't our planet. Happy Monday singer Shaun Ryder believes the world is a human zoo and we are taking part in an alien experiment. Fascinating. Quick question. Does anyone know what Belinda Carlisle thinks about the price of gold? Because that's the kind of random shit we're doing now. Shouldn't swear. But who gives 2 flips what Shaun Ryder thinks about aliens? Has anyone checked in with Enrique Iglesias to work out what he thinks about the northern gangs? Can we look at the county lines issue? And for more on that subject, let's cross over to Bez. Why do we care? That Star reckons the Earth, should that not be the Earth around us. Oh, okay, so it should be the lowercase one. Isn't as natural as we believe, and that aliens have been involved in developing it for hundreds of years. Aliens have been working on our topsoil. Right, are you confusing aliens with Alan Titchmarsh? Because it's understandable, but I don't think you know what you're talking about. Former Hellraiser, that's the other thing, isn't it? This is not even just some random singer things. Let's find the singer who is the most addled, the person whose brain has barely managed to make it through the 90s. And that's what they think about a difficult subject. This is one step beyond getting a medium to find out what Winehouse thinks about stuff. Do you know what I mean? What? Why? 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 All over that, all over the yes, Stephen Allen Almost Daily merch. Do you want the one that says lesser ring snatch? I feel like we should. Reliable mini eggs to death nuts. Oh, do you think? Oh, do you think I should make? Wait a minute, cream eggs. But I make a mold so that I can heat them up and then reset them, and they would be cream eggs in the shape of the death nuts. It's a lot of actual cooking that I'd have to do. I also feel like when my other half says, "What are you doing in the kitchen?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just melting down some cream eggs to make them into the shape and size of my testes." It feels like that doesn't answer the question. There would be a follow-up question, and I would have to answer more. Okay, well, we'll think about it. I want a hoodie with, "Oh no, Jason Statham is singing again." And then a picture of Steve on the back. We could make that. But the Dow is over 50k. Good point, well made. Sean Ryder said that he'd never been to America and there was shown a video that he'd made in America. Yeah, so I'm glad we asked him for his thoughts on any subject. I wouldn't trust Sean Ryder's assessment of the current weather conditions, which is good. We should not get him on as a weatherman. He wasn't fully sane nor conscious at the time, though. Yeah, but I don't think that's disagreeing with what we're saying, Joodles. I think that is why we shouldn't be asking him for any opinion. It's not in mitigating circumstances he was drug-addled at the time. That's not the mitigating. That's the, why don't you sit this one out, Sean? We'll find someone else to talk about aliens. Why don't you just... That wicker basket's coming on lovely. Why don't you have a crack at that? That? No? Okay. Okay. Return flight chaos. I think I might be a whiff dyslexic as well, because I trimmed this one out thinking it was Chagos' story. I've never been any good at reading, you can tell, but somehow I've pushed through. New passport rules are set to spark chaos for more than 1 million people. Oh no. From tomorrow... I think this was from today's paper, so we're bang on. You're up to date. All dual national citizens won't be able to use their foreign passports to enter the UK. They must instead show their British version. Oh, that's so terrible, isn't it? Oh, bad news for Shamima Begum, but good. Because look, there's nothing more annoying. There are more things. Of course, there are many things more annoying. But this makes it to the list of annoying things. When one's partner has a different passport, as I might find myself in that situation, I may well have a partner who has access to a Polish passport, and therefore both of my children can have a Polish passport. And there's nothing funnier than when all of the family and the in-laws say, because the in-laws have all gotten as well, say, "Oh, when we go through the airport, you'll have to join the big queue and we'll just zoom on by." Ha ha ha! Ha ha! Great. Can I do jokes about your nationality? No, and just that way around. Okay. Okay. And they all say, "Oh, we'll zoom back. We'll leave you in the queue." Great. And then you'll have to rush to catch up. Oh, I won't be doing that. No. If I'm the one driving back, I think you just wait by the car. Yeah, I might take ages in that queue, or I might do the queue and Costa, but you won't know because you've gone ahead with your own special passport. So it's kind of good that happens. I'm in favour of it. 2 stories left. What are we dealing with here? Oh, I found another one. 3 stories left. 4 stories left. All right, flipping heck. Let's bring them all in. This is what we got. Right, this is what we've got left. Let's vote some of these off. Lewis Hamilton has revealed the secret to his success is praising himself while he brushes his teeth. Bless. I'm a big boy. Right? All right, I mean, look, he's more successful than I am, and I don't clean my teeth, pat myself on the back for the ability to clean my teeth. I guess I should, because I've paid for... My mouth is more expensive than it's ever been, thanks to this crown. So I'll tell you what, For the next couple of weeks, when I clean my teeth, I will do some positive reinforcement. Because normally, when you clean your teeth, I don't know if it works as a woman, but as a man, it's a time when you judge yourself. When you're cleaning your teeth, especially if you have a manual brush, when you get the belly and moob wobble, you know it's time to try and get some of that manjaro. So maybe it's not the time when I feel the most confident about myself. I just brush my teeth. But then you can just get an electric. And a girdle. There are ways around it, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I will do it. I will praise myself for being a big boy who's very brave, who goes to the dentist and cleans his teeth. And let's see if the next thing you know, I'm boffing Kim Kardashian. Probably not. Probably not. The only Kardashian I'm likely to boff is Garrick. Yeah. Outfits are so dated. I think I would as well. I wouldn't thoroughly enjoy it, but he's got some, him and Bashir, they had an energy, didn't they? Nearly half of British singles admit that they've been less attracted to their date after meeting and seeing their outfits in real life. In which case, I got some bad news about what long-term relationships are going to be like. If you're willing to judge partners, you won't enjoy it past the 3-year stage. No. Because of the way things are in my life at the moment, it's getting slightly better now the kids are off to school a bit more. But for the first 2 years, certainly the first year of having a baby, you are very lucky if you get to shower and get changed. There are times when I've known the young one, won't be sleeping well. So I just sleep ready to jump straight out of that. I don't want to put trousers back on. I don't put jogging bottoms back on. What are they called that? I ain't jogging. Not since my knee's gone. So I'm just ready to pounce, which means what an absolute state. If you are willing to judge someone because of their outfit, 45% say they experience a so-called swag gap, 65% reckon the way someone dresses speaks volumes about their personality. Yeah, it does. Their lifestyle, yeah, I tell you what, if you don't get changed for ages because you've got a 1-year-old. People bother me. And finally, a prisoner stuffed £5,000 worth of drugs into the cushion of his wheelchair, hoping to sell them at a spice party. Would you be less inclined to buy some drugs if you'd known it had been in the cushion part of a wheelchair? It's not the wheelchair bit. Hey, let's not judge. I'm not even in favour of editing out the Tourette's people. I'm an ally. But I'm such an ally, I also swear when I shouldn't. That's how much of an ally I am. But do you not think if you were like, here's some drugs. Oh, how did you get it in here? It was in my cushioned seat. That's only one step down from Ems's, what was it? Not chocolate pocket. What's the new euphemism we've got, Ems? I'm sure you'll tell me the thing. But you know what I mean? Like, that's some good crack. It's not what you want to say when you sniff in the thing. Where do we get to? Sydney Sweeney isn't a salmon. You could have that. Yeah. Lewis is only more succeeded. This is not me struggling with this one, is it? How many AI-assisted musical bangers has he put out? Good point. He's good at driving. I'm good at, well, not at driving, AI-assisted musical bangers. Chris Hood questions the word boffing. That's a thing, isn't it? To boff. I boff, they boff, she boffs, which was, I think it was a Ricky Martin song. Precisely, Martin, says Joodles. Where's Martin? Lewis is, he's just a driver. He's a chauffeur, effectively, just with no one in the car. In related news, says Proper Memes, 45% of single people wonder why they're single. Yeah, because they go, I don't like your outfit. Well, just get over yourself. Cushion of his wheelchair is definitely a euphemism. Yeah, you know what I mean. The Middlesbrough prison. You don't want to smuggle that into your Middlesbrough prison, do you? That's how did you get these drugs in the old Middlesbrough prison? So yeah, Joodles got to it before UMs, and she's in a foreign country, or has had a bang on the head, or both. We don't know. Martin says Frank Boff. That's probably why he was. Maybe that's what it comes from. You know, like Hoover and Google start out as proper nouns, kind of become nouns, I guess, and then become verbs. Well, Boff. Brit says I've probably got a random escape mini egg in my wheelchair cushion. You're not worried it's going to hatch? Oh, dear. What? I've enjoyed this. These shows where I've enjoyed it more than you have is always weird. Are we up to that? Saving that for later, for much later, I imagine. Right. There's not really. I think we've done the last story, but there's one down the bottom that I did see that I didn't even plan on doing. More than half of adults flip a coin to settle disputes, mainly for chores, games, or takeaway orders, says a poll. Good, it's no way to live your life. What a stupid thing. It's a bit Harvey Two-Faced Dent, isn't it? To make decisions based on the flip of a coin. I know I will go with this one. You know the thing where apparently you can test what you wanted to be the outcome. It has to be like a dilemma, a dichotomy, I suppose. You need two outcomes. And if you're unsure, you flip the coin. When you look at it, you work out whether you feel happy or sad about the outcome, and that tells you what you truly meant about the thing. So you don't actually, it reveals your true feeling rather than you sat there trying to guess. But at the same time, it seems like a dumb way to live your life. You don't settle disputes that way. The only dispute you can settle is, I'll tell you what, if you flip that coin, it's going to come up heads. No, it's not. It's going to come up tails. Well, there's only one way to sort this. That I agree with. Everything else is an absolute waste of your time. Then mainly for chores, maybe it works for chores. Games, it's literally the game of flipping a coin. Takeaway orders, I mean, maybe. What I used to hate with the same long-term partner who was the niece of a bishop, I observed this. She'd say things like, what, do you want takeaway tonight? I'd say, yeah. She'd say, what do you want? And I said, I don't mind. And she'd say, oh, it's just really annoying that I always have to make the decision. Why can't you just make your mind upon it? Why don't you pick one? Well, I'm not going to mind either way, so why don't you pick one? No, I'm really upset. Why do I have to always do all the decisions around here? You pick one. And I'd say, okay, Chinese. And she said, oh, I don't really fancy Chinese. I'm sure she only did it so that I could pick one so that she could know I was not getting my first choice. Because if you are simply open to all suggestions, there is no element of making sure I didn't have the best day. Whereas if I picked one and then she could then force us to have Italian, then she only enjoy the food if she knows I'm not enjoying it that much. And I'm glad that's all ended. All right, let's wrap these. Schrodinger's coin. Yeah. I mean, no, but yeah. That's my nightmare sorted. Yeah, hatching a chocolate. I mean, it's small, so I guess it's a quail. It's not chickens coming out of mini eggs, is it? I'd be getting a cream chicken, which again, good euphemism. You'd be getting a chocolate quail. Hatched cream egg and mini egg monster battles, Pokemon spin-off. Yeah, but you'd win that one. Oh no, I'd win that one because of the size of the chicken. Whereas your tiny little chocolate quail, it's about as useless as the chocolate quail. That well-known phrase, that's where it comes from. Joodle says, no. Bear with. We've not even got the glasses out yet. Joodle says, no. Don't sound like him with a head of cold, do I? Britt, you'd never have to buy any again. You could nurture and cultivate your own without troubling Mondelez. True. I'm thinking about this now. Anyone want to nibble later, just let me know. Fair enough. I think Andrew might be on the phone. I'm not saying that Andrew, who may or may not have denied all wrongdoing. Bring it on. So you're gonna get the goose that lays the chocolate eggs. Cream chicken is better than butter chicken. It is. Well, timing, isn't it? Or something. Cream of chicken soup. That's your cure, Steve. I think you're onto something. That's how they make it, is it? Have you creamed your chicken? Is a phrase I never thought we'd need to do. Right, well, a couple of these before we go. Back to things. We were talking about Peter Mandelson, and Aging Hacker says, you could speculate if Peter's late afternoon arrest and evening interview was to minimise his daylight exposure. Good point, well made. What else we got on here? Chris Hood got in touch on the weekend. There's in the Telegraph, 50 great podcasts you've probably never heard of. Mentioned in the comments. Here's the actual article. And oh, look, I'm not logged in. I got a free login from that by writing for Mock the Week. I'll get that sorted. 50 great podcasts you've probably never heard of. And don't read the whole article, but sure enough, oh no, it's reset. I've got to go all the way flipping down. Please hold. Hang on. This is effectively hold music, isn't it? I feel like I'm advertising everyone else's podcast. What's that one? A dance. I'll do the plugs in a sec. for the love of... How many of these? How many are there? Oh, 50. Good point, well made. Wait. Look, there's one by Chris Hood. I'd like to mention an excellent comic review of the news with Stephen Allen. Look, when I'm ill, it's not my best. In general, it's better than it normally is. His almost daily, Tuesday, Thursday at noon, sometimes live and loose version Friday at noon, are live on his YouTube channel and available later to listen or watch afterwards. Live interaction with audience, chat, and good fun. Wait, and look, you received 1 like for that from me, but still, I guess I must have been logged in. All right. Oh yeah, we need to do this, don't we? Get the plugs. Get me tea towel out of the way. Tea towels to stop the... I don't know what to do with that. Here we go. But plugs. On Wednesday, GB News at 11. I'll be reviewing the news and probably sweating. Thursday, we'll do another almost daily at 12. Friday, sure enough, there might be a live and loose at 12. Plus, 7 p.m, there should be Plank of the Week on Talk TV, which I should be recording on Wednesday if it all works out. You think it does? Saturday, performing the stand-up comedy in the Watford in a nightclub. So I will be having that moment of suddenly all the people from the gig go, oh, that headline act was great. Anyway, see you, bye. And young people come in and they're like, oh, you lot on a register or something? And there we go. That's what I'm up to. Let's wrap this bad boy up. I think I've done everything, actually. There's a lot of debate about cream of chicken. Cream egg chicken is less good than everything. Get Mrs. H on the case, says Joodles to Chris. What about creaming a chicken? Ask her if she'll cream your chicken for you later. But which came first? Well, ask them later. It'll be Chris. She makes a banging turkey and veg soup. Fair enough. Joodle says, can you book me a place at the table for Sunday, please? All right, you just get yourself sorted. Steve's YouTube channel, says Proper Memes, has gone from 1.37k to 1.51k since the reboot of Almost Daily. Eh? I'm going places. Literally still here, aren't I? I did wonder where that like came from. Of course it was me. And I thought, this will be the like that opens up the floodgates for loads of people saying, do you know what, that Stephen Allen's YouTube stream is pretty good. Yeah, I'll click like. Have you ever creamed the hood of a chicken? Says Charlotte. I don't really know. We're up there with hug a hoodie, something like that. Do I bring the filth to the stream? I don't think you do, Charlotte. I think it's probably here when you arrive. You're bringing more. It's like it's like a dinner party where everyone brings their own little something. And look, for example, Martin says cocoa creme. So it's not just you. Do not worry about that. And M's cocoa van is better. Depends what kind of van you enjoy being in, M's. And you are from the north, so I'm probably going to guess transit. ASMR. I think we're thoroughly up to date. The at Mr. Stephen Allen bit, as ever, I'll try and knock something up for Substack. I feel like I should do. We should do a little. I've got more followers on there basically for doing no extra work. The YouTube video that I did, the music ones, no one cares about, but the one about Andrew looking like a wrong un seems to have done all right. So I think that brought some people in. Charlotte says, "I'm not bringing my own creme to the dinner party." Well, and again, it depends where you stand on the whole period of dairy products. But your creme could bring all the boys to the yard. I don't really understand what you do to go from milk to all the rest of the things. I feel like we should do a YouTube video on that. Chris says, toodles everyone, he's out of here. I don't blame you, we're out of time. And Chris has got the right idea though. If there are any stories about podcasts, feel free to mention me in the comments. That would be a nice thing to do. Of course, I'll try and do some of that as well. Ko-fi.com/@MrStephenAllen, where I will go out there and buy USB, the B version, the old mini one for this. The next thing you know, these songs are going to flip in rock. I'm going to be Van Halening the crap out of this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that. What, a minor with a major seventh? Ba-da-da-ding. So, thank you very much for watching. Any money always willingly received at kofi.com/Mr. Stephen Allen. All the rest of it at Mr. Stephen Allen for all of that. Lunch has arrived for Chris. You need to make the music videos into shorts. They're now more popular. I know, but the problem is all my music videos, they're wide, they're big eye. I have to find a way around that. RFK Jr. and Kid Rock are enjoying the milk together. They like a milk product, don't they? OMG, love it. Good finger work. Well, because look, everyone loves, standard would be to do a major chord with a minor seventh. It's bluesy. Bring, that's that. Yeah, you do the Mixolydian scale, of course you would, right? You can make it a major ninth, and then all of a sudden you're in some kind of weird samba girl from Ipanema thing. This bad boy, minor chord with a major seventh, mystery. Martin says, Steve, drop your shorts. Well, I'm not, hey, it's not OnlyFans. You're on the wrong stream. If that's the kind of stuff, oh, you mucky pup. That's the kind of thing you're into. You've come to the wrong place. But then see me on Thursday. You never know. If I'm running out of ideas, we'll do what we can. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, bye.
Here comes the news with a twist and a grin. Steve and Allen diving in again.
Britain is in the
Almost
grip of a
daily,
vomiting
but
epidemic.
always
Find
sure.
nauseating TV adverts
He'll
in
hit your
Archbishop
brain
Cooper
like
to
a
stop the
lightning
Church of
spark.
England from spending
Stephen
£100
Allen,
on slavery in their
almost
lives
daily.
investigating what we
Laughs
find
and
to make
facts
maybe I don't.
served out
It's literally
plainly.
you look at your face
Your
like, what are you
dose
going to do
of
with that,
wit,
Steve? Not
it's
a lot.
never
Right?
shady. Stephen Allen, almost daily.
Hollywood.